3 Yard Quilt, and we are going to use the Make It Easy book, which is the most recent release. And I've chosen Elemental. You guys helped me pick this fabric out from Sewing Art Center. I think it goes together beautifully. I am so excited about mixing this Kaffe in with these motor prints. Again, I got all this from Sewing Art Center, so if you really like this quilt, go on ahead and check them out. They have an online presence. We are going to make this our focal fabric. It's going to be focal fabric number 1. This is going to be fabric number 2, and we're going to make the dot the fabric number 3. All right, I'm going to cut this up. This shouldn't take any time, really. This is in the Easy book. It's a simple sew. So if you're new, this might be a good one for you. And if you want to do something zhuzhy, this one might be a good one for you too. All right, let's cut her up. So I was looking at how this quilt comes together, and boy, is it going to be a fast one, mostly because we will be doing a ton of strip piecing. First thing we're going to do is grab our fabric number 3 and our fabric number 2, the chunky strips, and we are going to piece these together very, very quickly, just like this. We're going to make this sandwich. And this right here is going to knock out like almost one block. It's happened so fast. So this requires a little baby strip too. And I went ahead and pressed these in. I think I pressed these out. Not really concerned about which direction I press this. Just make sure that you press it. Then I'm going to take the end and I am going to trim it off. And then we are going to subcut. Now, of course, I can't give you the measurements, but you all know because you've purchased the book. Here we go. I'm just going to make sure this all lines up nice and straight. That looks good. And I will take my cut. I'm looking for 12 of these guys right here. So we're going to use this and our little partial strip, and we're going to cut 12 of these and put them to the side and then move on to the next strip set. So now we are going to grab a bunch of our little skinny number 2 strips and our thicker number 1 strip. I am going to show you, my fabric is directional and I'd like to not have any of the birds upside down. The only time you will see this bird, you know, kind of weird is on the border where it will be this direction, and all of those, hopefully, if I play my cards right, will be just looking that way. So the way that I'm going to handle that is, for the first, I'm going to split these in 2 sections. The first strip I'm going to sew like this, and the second strip I'm going to sew to the bottom of the other strip like this. Okay, so, and then the other block just goes in between it. So again, I'm going to do this little strip here, thicker strip, little strip. And I am going to just split these up evenly. So if you have to do 8, I'm going to do 4 sets like this, and I'm going to do 4 sets like that. Just look at the pattern and split them up evenly, okay? Just in case you want to see me cut this one too, we're going to take off this selvage. And don't worry, you have plenty of space to take off your selvage. So don't be concerned that it is not going to be enough fabric left off for you to cut deep into your selvage, because I believe that you will have enough left over to do so. We are going to subcut according to the directions, and there you have it. And the birds are both right sides up. So oh, I'm very pleased. This is going to be a cutie patootie quilt. And you have about this much left over. So again, you can cut pretty good into the into your quilt, into your strip, and straighten it up if you need to. Next is our next strip set. Super simple. We're going to grab our number 1 focal fabric and 2 of our number 3s, and we will put them on both sides and sew down. We need 2 of these. So this looks great. Very pleased with it. It looks like a good time. I feel like I want to name this one. I haven't really named any of my 3-yard quilts, or like really finished them, but this one here, oh, I want to put some bright orange quilting, or maybe green. I might finish this one, guys. I don't know. We'll see. It's just that it's so striking and so pretty. All right, we're subcutting this one the same way that we've subcut the others. Here we go. And I'm sure that we will be adding some. There we go. That looks good to me. Look at that. Love that. Not concerned about where it's landing, what the focal image is. You're going to get some birds in there somewhere. For sure. You're going to get some birds. Now that we have our cute block, and look at how this fell. It gave me a guide, just perfect center there. And I think I have a bunch of them because, you know, it was, stuff is, you know, mathematically what it is. And so you just kind of keep getting the same stuff if you don't care to offset it yourself. And what I mean is, because I know that I could have had a little bit left over, I could have, you know, taken off a random 1/2 inch and it would have shifted things. Anyway, that looks cute. I like it. Now I'm going to take one of these fabric number 3 strips and I'm going to sew it right sides together down this side. All right, I have sewn down on one side. I'm going to flip this over and I am going to trim away the excess. And I am going to add this to this side now and sew down. Now I have this the same way on this side. I'm going to flip it over. If you're concerned about squaring up your stuff, you can certainly measure this and then cut the strips exactly, and it will probably give you slightly more accurate results. But this is going to suffice for what we're doing. And now let's press it. I started to grab my larger ironing board, but let's keep the same bird energy. This is the Sarasota Sews ironing board that people ask me about all the time, and it's a cutie patootie. You can find me talking more about this on my channel. Just Google the little ironing board. Anyway, I am pressing that back, and we'll do the same thing on this side. Let's just set that seam just a little bit and press this backward. I am not concerned about opening up these seams, which is making this quilt go by even faster. And that looks good. And now we have a beautiful block. Absolutely striking. Boy, that looks good. All right, so this is actually a completed block. This is block B as in boy. This is a finished block. Now we're going to grab these two. So we've got one with the birds this way and one with the birds sitting this way. And we're going to just sandwich it in between here and sew this whole unit together. So now I have sewn these together. Let's press them. Again, whichever direction you press this stuff at this point does not matter. Because there's so much bulk going this way, I'm going to opt to push these back that way. That's kind of how I try. I don't always succeed, but I try to go where it makes sense. And I'm going to just push it where there are less seams to fight. And I'm just going to put that right there in the center. And now we have our finished little block, and they will go side by side every other until the quilt is done. Then we throw some borders on. So the next time you see me, we will be putting all of these rows together. So we have just finished sewing all these together on a live. So if you want to see me sew the innards together, please pop on over. We had some great quilty discussions over there, just jaw-jacking. People say that they like to put me on in the background and I keep them company while I am doing my lives. Some people like to come to the lives. You know, it all depends. But either way, it's there for you. And I'm liking this format of doing the pulls with you guys, then sewing the innards together with you all, but also giving you a quick video of how to put it together. We're getting 3, sometimes, depending upon how long it takes me to sew it together, 4 videos of hanging out together with 1 3-yard quilt, guys. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Now, this is what the rows are going to look like. This is just the cutest, just the most striking bird quilt ever seen. We're going to do these 2 3 times so that we have 6 rows. You're going to start with the elemental. I'm going to call that the elemental block, and then the framed block. And we're going to do this. Just sew them together. I'm going to sew right sides together. These two, and then it together. And that's not going to take any time at all. It's going to be a very, very quick sew. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to push and sew this together tonight, and then I will add the borders on. And this guy will be cooked and ready to debut for Sunday. Yay! Our last step is an interesting one. This is the first time that I've done this, and that I haven't actually altered the quilt to take this part out. So they have designed a partial strip that goes on the sides and the top, and on the sides and the bottom. And that's just to use up some of that fabric that's left over when you're designing a 3-yard quilt. So on this left side, we're going to do the bird. And all I'm going to do is lay this out and measure it. So I'm going to do the sides first, even though one side is going to be the bird and the other side is going to be this polka dot. I'm going to sew this on this side, then I'm going to sew this on that side, then we will do the top and we will do the bottom. For the bird, I'm going to have him looking, I'm going to have him looking out. So when I sewed it all together, I sewed it so that the birds were directional. And so I think I'm going to sew it so that they're looking out. I don't know. The sides really don't matter all that much. Maybe I'll have them looking in. I don't know. But the bird will go on this side. The polka dot will go on this side. And then we'll do the top with the bird. And then the polka dot will go on the bottom. And this quilt will finally be finished.